This is the state of Gran Turismo 7. We're quite a few months after launch, and the game is really not what I think anyone expected, that's fair to say. So in this video, I'm going to be going through all of the aspects of Gran Turismo 7 and letting you know where they are, what's good and what's not. So if you're a new player looking to maybe buy Gran Turismo 7, it's going to be super helpful for you. And if you've been playing already for quite a while, then hopefully these things will resonate with you, or maybe you disagree, in which case let me know in the comments. So we're going to go to the map here, and I'm going to explore Gran Turismo 7. But before we do so, I just want to say a big thanks to the sponsor of this video, GT Omega. Thank you so much again, GT Omega. And they're sponsoring this video with the GT Omega Element Series chair. So if you're watching this video and you're not in exceedingly good comfort, make sure to check out the GT Omega Element Series chair at gtomega.com and use the code Kireth5 at checkout to get yourself 5% off. So thank you again for sponsoring this video. But let's get into it. I'm going to go around all these icons and I'm going to let you know, as a kind of expert GT player, I think maybe it's fair to say, I don't know. So we'll start with the used cars, and the used car functionality for me is really not very good. I would like the used car shop to be a place where you can also sell cars, and I would like the pricing to be a bit more dynamic. I would like there to be more liveries applied to the cars. I would like some of the cars to be damaged when you buy them. This is so basic. I mean, it's to me, I'm not really a fan of this implementation at all. You've seen the videos I've made on this channel, like barn finds and cheap car challenge, and this to me is like, doesn't feel like a step up from any other previous Gran Turismo game, even going back like, 20 years ago. So used cars for me is so much more to do, but let me know if you disagree. Then we talk about the actual car roster here. We'll go to Brand Central. What do we think of the cars? Now, for me, this is tied in. A lot of these aspects are going to link together. This is tied in for me with the physics of the cars. So the majority of cars in Gran Turismo are road cars. I don't know what the percentage is, but a significant percentage are these road cars. And the current physics in Gran Turismo 7 do not really make me want to drive road cars. However, when the game launched and the physics were more difficult to drive, and if you drove a muscle car, for example, then you would really feel that power. If you even breathed on the trigger, the back end would come round and you would have to tune your way around it. I actually much preferred that, and that made me really want to drive road cars and race road cars against other people and see which one of us has done a better job with the tune. But because the driving at the moment is a little bit more sterile, it's more understeery, although they have tweaked it a little bit recently, for me, there's no real reason to drive a lot of these road cars. And because that's the majority of the cars in the game, there's no reason for me really to drive the majority of the cars in the game, which I think is a big shame. So that's my thought really on the majority of the cars. They are adding cars pretty much every patch. Cynically, I don't know whether those cars were already in at launch, and in fact what they're doing is they've just delayed them to add them as free DLC. I don't know. But for example, we've got the Suzuki VGT that's been added. Both the VGT and the Group 3 VGT. That's pretty cool. We used it in the Nations race. It does add some, add some energy into the game. We're kind of looking forward to what's going to come next patch. I don't know how dry that's going to get when we realise that none of these cars are massively revolutionary, or they're cool to drive for the first time, but then are you really going to use them again? So cars is a bit of a weird one. What I would really like with cars, from my personal preference, is to have a lot more GT3 racing cars. Definitely more up-to-date GT3 racing cars. I think that would be fantastic. I would love if we can start to do kind of GT3 leagues and GT3 championships. So many of the GT3 cars here are really, really, really old. This GTR is 10 years old. We don't have a lot of the newer cars in Real World GT3. So those are my thoughts. Again, let me know what you think. Right, let's go on over to Sport Mode. And Sport Mode, this was basically pretty much Gran Turismo Sport as the previous game, and now it's a smaller part of Gran Turismo 7. What do I think about Sport Mode? I think Sport Mode is actually pretty good. I'm glad that they kept it pretty much the same as Gran Turismo Sport, because I thought Gran Turismo Sport was a great game. I thought it nailed what it tried to do, and we have the essence of it here. The thing I think we all know that needs to be improved in Sport Mode is the DR, the SR, the penalties. I feel like they're not updating this as much as they did in Gran Turismo Sport. In Gran Turismo Sport, they would tweak the penalty system quite a lot, and I haven't seen them tweak the penalty system once in Gran Turismo 7, and we're approaching 2023. So by and large, Sport Mode for me is a great mode, but I know a lot of you in the comments are commenting my video saying, I'm not having great racing in Sport Mode because I'm getting rammed and punted off. And I think they could fix that just with harsher penalties, updating the penalty system, thinking about how much SR you lose if you keep getting penalties, and that would help filter the lobby. So that's my thoughts on sport mode. But for me, the racing is pretty good. There's not running any lag. It's quicker to get into lobbies. I'm really enjoying GT World Series. So from my personal perspective, I'm really enjoying it, but I can see they need to improve some more things there. Right, let's go around to the legend cars. Now, I think they need to improve so much on the legendary cars. These cars are really expensive. Like the cars that are 20 million credits, that's about £160. So if you want to buy this Mercedes-Benz S-Bar, like, how many people really want to buy this car? Honestly, in the world, how many people really want to buy this car? It might be just a very small number of people. There's nothing that the game is doing to incentivize me to really want to buy this car. It doesn't jazz up the cars here. Like, these cars should be massively celebrated. When you get a top-of-the-range card in FIFA, the game just massively celebrates that. It is shiny. They walk out. There's fireworks. There's explosions. And here, it's so understated. And I know that's kind of the style of the Haggerty thing, but these cars need to be celebrated. There needs to be a reason for me to really want to have these cars. Yeah. And the thing is, I want to drive these cars like once. I want to drive the GTO, but, you know, to see what it's like. But there's nothing incentivizing me to keep driving it in the game, which is mad. Like the MP4, I want to drive it. I want to drive it at Suzuka. I want to drive it at Monza. I want to see how it feels. But then once I've understood that, there's nothing really for me to race with it. They need to do so much more with the legendary cars. If they want to incentivize people to either grind or pay, I really don't think they're doing enough at the moment, but that's my personal view. Right, let's head on over to lobbies. And lobbies for me is pretty much the worst bit of the game at the moment. And that makes me quite sad, because lobbies and Gran Turismo Sport on this channel, and by the way, if you're new to this channel, please, if you've got this far in the video, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you liked. It makes my day. I just do this in my part-time. I like speaking up for the community. But lobbies were so good in GT Sport. I used to run so many lobbies on YouTube. We'd have so much fun. You know, I think some of the best racing in Gran Turismo Sport was in lobbies, and all the leagues were in lobbies. Lobbies now, just there is so much lag. We still have this initializing issue where you can't even start a lobby, and all Gran Turismo have said is, oh, you should get everyone to leave and come back, which practically doesn't work. I don't understand why I can't sort these lobbies by most full. There's 14 pages of lobbies here. I want to see which are the most full ones, and I want to jump in. That would actually make me want to jump in. That is such an easy fix. Yes, we can now load settings and save settings. I have no idea why that wasn't included at the start of the game, but it is now, so fair enough. I want to be able to do one makes. I want to be able to do multi-class. Give me more options here. Like, it's such an easy fix, surely. Just give me more filters. Qualifying, I don't even think is in yet. Why can't we qualify? The reverse grid doesn't work off practice. Why not? So lobbies is like the state of the game. I'm sure a lot of you are listening right now and just nodding your head, because this is just it. This would change Gran Turismo 7 really. So lobbies are not in a good way right now. GT Auto, the car customization is really good in Gran Turismo 7. I have absolutely no complaints. There are some absolute wizards in our Discord that create some of the most insane liveries. It's absolutely mad. So yeah, GT Auto, I can't complain at all. I'm very happy with it. Let's go ahead to the tuning shop. And the tuning shop, again, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, with the economy at the beginning of the game, it's like you couldn't even afford to buy tyres for your cars and stuff like that. The tuning shop is what it is. It seems pretty clear this is not going to change, by the way. Wouldn't it be cool if we had different tuning parts added and stuff like that? But this looks to be, this is going to be how this is going to look in like 2026 when we're still playing Gran Turismo 7. So tuning is what it is. Much better than Gran Turismo Sport. I've spoken about it before, but can they do anything more to improve it? Let's go ahead here to the cafe. And the cafe I really like. Now, I don't have a lot of time to chill out and do cafe stuff and read all of the menu books and speak to the guys and whatnot. But I have to say, this is a really cool thing that Gran Turismo have added. It's kind of in the same way that sport, online competitive sport, was the DNA of Gran Turismo Sport. I feel like this is the DNA of Gran Turismo 7. So I'm all for this. And if I was growing up, I would 100% be reading about the cars, reading about all the things. And in the same way that I've bought a car in real life, that I really enjoy driving Gran Turismo Sport, I think there's going to be a lot of people here that really become attached to certain car manufacturers and certain cars because of learning through them from the cafe. So I've got no complaints about the cafe, and they keep adding menus, and that's great. In terms of world circuits, there's a lot to go on here. We'll talk about world circuits and we'll talk about events and championships. So the track list is pretty much the same as Gran Turismo Sport. There is no new track in Gran Turismo 7 that hasn't featured in the previous Gran Turismo game. And I actually find that astonishing. In this day and age where it's all about new content and new things, it really does contribute, along with the same UI, of a feeling of not a lot of progression from GT Sport. I really feel like they should be trying to add new circuits, either fictional circuits, new fictional circuits, or new real-world circuits. I know that's going to be quite unpopular in the comments. I know a lot of you want the classics like Grand Valley Speedway and stuff like that. But I really want freshness in Gran Turismo 7. I want a new track. I want something like Imola to come in. I want something like Montreal to come in. Wouldn't that be incredible? I want these sort of tracks. This adds a massive freshness. So the track list, you know, is pretty good, to be fair. It's pretty good, but I feel like I was expecting a lot more. Now, in terms of the championships, and you can unlock more championships here, by the way, once you progress through the cafe, I have no real incentive to drive a lot of these. Now, when I was younger, playing Gran Turismo, playing Sega GT, playing Forza, I used to love this kind of stuff. I feel like for me, I'm more about the online, but I would be totally over more substantial championships if they're in better format, like an actual GT3 championship. Maybe license some names. I don't know if that's possible. Have it running over a whole season. Do like go around 15 tracks around. Have have the hardest AI possible available. That kind of stuff would make me interested. Have some big payouts as well. If you finish after the 15 races first, have a big payout. I mean, people are doing these championships really for grinding. That's all the races are really for. And for me, I have a thing with grinding. I really don't like grinding. I don't see it as a good use of my time. For me, the grind is about doing something unenjoyable to unlock credits to buy something you want. I don't want to do something unenjoyable to unlock those credits. I'll give you an example. Where I did grind before was a game, Tesla Unlimited, the original one back in the day. It had a challenge called the Millionaires Challenge. You had to drive around the whole island. It took about an hour, and I think you got 1 million credits if you did it. Now, I used to do that challenge so many times. I used to get close sometimes I would do it, sometimes I would miss it. And it wasn't just about the credits for me, it was about the challenge. I enjoyed doing it. So I'm not a fan of kind of these events at the moment that are just for grinding. I want them to be difficult, I want them to be dynamic. So, yeah, championships, I think they can do a lot more, to be honest, and hopefully that's low-hanging fruit. Let's go over to the showcase function. I think they could do more here. I feel like I'm a little bit disappointed with this. It's pretty much the same as Gran Turismo Sport. I want there to be a better way to celebrate people. I want, we should be paying people for liveries in terms of in-game credits. If you make an amazing livery, you should be paid for it in credits, I find. And this is so old school. And yes, you get some likes and some repost, but I just feel like they could do so much more here to celebrate people and bring people together. Bring together the livery creators. Bring together the replay editors. Bring together the racers, the decal makers. Bring them all together. This is just so disparate. Some of you might understand what I'm saying here. So for some of you, I might not be making any sense, but I just feel like there is so much more they could do with the community that is outside of racing in Gran Turismo 7. Look at all the fun people are having here. Designing stuff, taking photos. And we should celebrate that more. That is part of racing culture. And at the moment, we don't. We have a place for people to post it. And that's pretty much it. So I really hope they could do a lot more here. This is all the music I got, I guess, with the pre-order. Very nice. Right, let's go on over to Scapes. Scapes is a phenomenal feature. It's really, 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 really good. It's basically kind of best in class, I think, in terms of games, the photos you can get. So I have no issues with Scapes, and I hope they continue to add Scapes locations. I have a lot of fun messing around in Scapes. The one thing I would like to add is moving Scapes. I think that'd be really good if you can move your car through the scene. I know you get the preview in the garage, but that's something I would like them to add. Let's go to garage now and have a look at this. So here we'll talk about maybe the specifics of tuning and the whole PP system. I think they thought it was going to be a lot better than it was. As I've said in many videos, I looked at the PP system and announced it, and I knew this was just going to be gamed. It was going to be exploited. Same thing has happened in Forza. So they keep tweaking that. They're now tweaking the PP of cars, which doesn't seem right. You should have a formula that applies PP for each car. But anyway, in terms of the tuning, it's kind of been negated a little bit now because the cars are generally easier to drive. And I don't know what to make of tuning right now. I was really enjoying tuning at the beginning of the game. I was really enjoying when we had to tune for daily races. I actually got really into that. And now we've settled into the kind of time trial machine that GT Sport was, with absolute parity. You have to remember, at the beginning of Gran Turismo 7, right, online, talking about online competitive sport mode, the mode where, you know, you end up going to the World Tour and into these live events. In that mode, you had random wind, so the wind direction would change for everyone, which would affect your lap time, and it was open tuning. So there was so much more than just pure driver ability, and I kind of missed that, actually. I kind of miss it. The first week at Daytona, for me, still the best week of daily race I've ever seen. Roulette seems to have got a bit better. I hate roulette. I don't really understand why it's in the game. I'm not even going to speak about roulette here. If you've played GT7, you know about roulette. It is what it is. Tuning parts, I think it's still a little bit hard to get these parts. If you did the engine glitch that we posted on the channel, you have about 1 billion engines, so that's fantastic. Really glad we were able to help you there, because the way it is at the moment, it just doesn't give you enough. Car collection, this ties in with the point I made earlier. It doesn't really give me, like, so what? Like, it's not linking into anything. It's not like Pokemon where I can battle the Pokemon and watch them grow or anything. Like, so what? It says car collection, but what are you doing to incentivize me? Unless you're like I don't even think you need to complete this to get the platinum, unless I'm wrong. But you're not really incentivizing me. Like, give me stuff. Let me link up cars. Like, if I get cars and they link together, give me some credits or something. Like, let me start trying to, okay, if you get 4 cars from Italy, it does something. 8 cars from Italy. Like, for a game that purports to be a car collection game, it is so poor on incentivizing me to collect cards. Like, there are so many ways that you could make it fun to collect cards. I just feel like it hasn't done it at all. And that is a bit that I think actually, this is 100% true. This is a thing that surprises me most about the game. I get with lobbies and sport mode, it wasn't a focus. But this is where the focus was meant to be. Like, why are you not just making this more exciting? I mean, this is it. It's pretty boring, you know? Anyway, let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas about how we can make card collection more exciting, but I feel like they've missed a massive trick here. Like, I could have been so into collecting cars, that could have been the thing, and, you know, anyway, some cars are really difficult to collect. Maybe to collect some cars, you have to beat them in a race, and they're massively overpowered, and it's really difficult. Think about any kind of RPG. I know I could go on. This is just, it's a bit of a madness, that. Right, let's go to 2 more, I think, left. So we've got the licenses and the missions. The licenses, absolutely great. I mean, this is old school GT. You can see I haven't even done super licenses, but, you know, this stuff I know a lot of you absolutely love, and fantastic. So glad they brought this back. Licenses. It's not rocket science. Everyone wants them. We got them. Great. And now the missions. I feel like the missions is where they should be adding more fun. This was a really unsung part in GT Sport, by the way. This was an area of GT Sport that I think probably hardly anyone actually did, but it was really fun. And when I want to get in single player, I will go through and I will complete all these missions. I just hope they add some more fun ones. But you can do drag racing here. You can do the cone challenges here, I believe. You can have some very fun races here. So human comedy, you know, this is where they really added in something that I think was quite exciting, the hour-long races. Maybe they'll do 3-hour races. Kaz has talked about adding 24-hour races in single player. How he's going to do it without B-Spec, I don't know. But it would go here. So this is where I think the real future of the game is, to be honest, in terms of the missions. I feel like hopefully they're cooking up some really, really, really interesting stuff. And that is the state of the game. Like I said, let me know in the comments. If you like the style that we have on this channel, make sure you're subscribed. I know a lot of you. I know basically all of you are. Thank you so much. But I've gone around here, and that is the state of the game from someone who spent 500 hours in GT Sport last year. He spent a lot of time in Gran Turismo 7, streaming, making videos. I've been following the game since launch. But your view really matters, so let me know in the comments about your view. What do you think about this? Have I missed anything? Is there anything I haven't got right? You know, this game has so much potential. At the moment, it kind of feels like sort of GTA 5, but there's no other cars and pedestrians or something. It's like the whole world is there. It's just ready. You just need to make it alive. And I feel like here they just need to make it alive with the car collection, with the showcase, you know, with more single player championships, getting the lobbies, you know, let us make leagues and run those. Let us make championships and run them. Really incentivize me to really want a legendary car rather than just a car existing. That kind of stuff. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for listening. And I'll see you all. Some more videos around here if you want to watch them, by the way. My thoughts on the game. I'll see you all next time.